Michelin's protesting as he braked down for the international horseshoe.
This is what it's all about. Two top pros at the very peak of their powers. Two manufacturers who have been here since the beginning of the GTP formula and have developed and developed and developed and are fighting for one of the grandest prizes in all of motorsport. This is what we come here for after 24 hours since the green flag, 6 hours of pure racing since we came out of that full course caution for the fog. It's been worth the wait. Arjuna is posted down by Porsche Penske Motorsport and has news on the number 6 963 of Kevin Estre.
Remember, John, that Lawrence Vanthoor posted on social media early in the race that they had been nursing what they thought was unfixable damage, and that may be part of why they are struggling, but also reports of potentially a part falling off the car when Lawrence Vanthoor was last in the Porsche Penske machine, and so that's what they're nursing. Another update for you, John, in the GTD Pro battle, the #1 Paul Miller Racing BMW has no radio communication with their driver right now as we head into these tense final moments on the run to the checkered flag.
Across the stripe again and down to turn 1. Aitken is ever closer. He feints to the right, dives to the left, but covered by Felipe Nasser. So that was a slight change of tactics that time, Ryan. Normally, Jack stays very, very wide and tries to do that outside pass. He feigned to do that and dive back in. Felipe Nasser did not move to the outside to cover him, and so the pass was not made.
Changing the line of attack slightly,
Absolutely.
Changing the visual in the mirror for the race leader. Nasser maybe trying to force a miscue, but Felipe's a tough one to phase. That's on full display.
Oh, he's got problems here coming out of the Western Horseshoe. Just had to delay getting on the power. The Pro Lexus, sorry, no, that is the GTD Lexus, was just there. Nothing they could do. Aaron Thielitz just sitting on his line onto the high banks again. The Cadillac holding on to the Porsche as they go round the Sun Energy 75 car that's been such a brilliant, has just such a brilliant run. Maro Engel in second at the moment. Down to the Le Mans hairpin, there's traffic here for the leader. Here's the chance for Jack Aitken. Got a time, his throttle application coming out of the Le Mans chicane perfectly. Oh, I think he might have taken slightly too much curb there, Peter, but he's been getting a great draft through the tri-oval.
And we're now into the sector of the racetrack where no one can touch the 31 Whelen Engineering Cadillac. It's been the fastest in that sector all race long, and if you can pick up a draft, even better. Here they come through the tri-oval.
This could be the pass for the lead with 21.5 minutes to go. Aitken waits, he goes down below the yellow line and he's cut off immediately. Door slammed in his face by Felipe Nasser. Looked like he was waiting until the very last minute. It was almost like a soccer player taking a penalty in a shootout. He was trying to make Felipe Nasser, as the goalkeeper in that analogy, he was trying to commit him first and then go the other way. And that was so close to contact between those two. But PMAC is absolutely right. That Whelen Cadillac is absolutely fleet of foot, Ryan, in that last sector.
If there hadn't been an LMP2 car to give a tow to Nasser,
oh, good point,
I'm not sure he would have held on. That was amazing, watching the Cadillac close in and almost get alongside.
Understeer at turn 6 for the Cadillac in second. Jack Aitken is struggling with the front grip on that car, or at least was that time around. These cars pretty evenly matched since they came out of the pits. There's not that much of an offset since we saw them last. The leading car weaving there, maybe to clean up the tyres a bit because they've been down on the apron the lap before. Yeah, the GTD lead is now being disputed. Down on the inside, the Winward Racing number 57 of Phil Ellis has Nicky Team on the high side. Aston Martin versus AMG, front engine cars, both with the same engine. They almost touch, I think they did touch, as they're coming down to the braking area for the Le Mans chicane. And who's that in behind them? Is that a significant car? No, I don't think it is. They have changed positions, and Winward snatched the lead with 19 3/4 minutes to go.
I'd been watching that battle out the window while you guys were concentrating on the GTP battle, and Philip Ellis had been there really this entire stint. He closed in right away out in the pits, but the Aston is really quick in his straight line. He's got a decent run, and he's got the benefit of the slipstream.
Here comes team, here comes Nicky Team in the Magnus car. That team have not won for 10 years, but they know how to win in the Rolex 24. He pops out to the outside line, but Ellis is, well, you're going to have to go around the long way. There's still more contact. Oh, there's not going to be a straight panel on these cars.
And also, Andrea Caldarelli is the Lamborghini in behind them. Now, he's a lap down. What he's trying to do is get back on the lead lap, as there's another touch going into the International Horseshoe.
Well, Caldarelli's actually in a different class. He's in GTD Pro. These are the two GTD leaders. But he's been the fly in the ointment in this battle, really, for the last 20 minutes. At one point, he was splitting the top two, and Philip Ellis was not enjoying that one bit. He was laying the bumper to that Lamborghini, trying to get it out of the way.
Matthias Trudy is the next car back in the Aston Martin for Heart of Racing in the GTD battle. Thank you for putting me straight on that. I was getting overly excited just seeing another GTD car there. But Matthias is only 4.2 seconds behind that battle.
He's been steadily losing ground, though. What he needs is the top two to start fighting amongst themselves. That might be his chance to get closer. Yeah, exactly.
I think he might get his wish somehow.
Yeah, I think he might do. The Felipe Nasser, Jack Aitken battle at the front of the field has become 1 second. They're into the International Horseshoe again in the sunshine here at Daytona. Traffic again just having to be negotiated. Imagine the concentration, gentlemen, that is going on. You have one of the biggest races in the sports car calendar that kicks off this season. You have one of the most prized trophies in sports car racing being the Rolex Cosmograph Rolex 24 Daytona Winners Watch. All the money in the world can't buy it, you have to earn it. So how close was the Aston and the Tecamet AMG GT3? Actually, in fairness, the Magnus car got slightly moved up the track there by one of the LMP2s. Oh, that's all a bit intimidatory going down the braking area, but I think that's all right, and I'm not sure, in fact, I'm pretty sure there wasn't any contact, Peter.
There was coming out of turn 6 quite a bit, wheel-to-wheel banging, and in the front of the field a few laps ago, that nearly moved there from Aitken. Well, Nasser having to shut the door hard. Julian Andler and teammate Lauren Heinrich watching on. I'm sure they have zero fingernails left.
When Dries Vanthoor says that, he's going to realise how close he was to winning this race if he doesn't already. Yeah. Because the front two very nearly took themselves out there. Yeah, and that would have
coming back to GTD, if I may. Yeah. Philip Ellis, remember Mobile 112 as a Sebring last year? It was a proper touring car race, DTM style, between him and Jack Hawksworth, and Ellis didn't mind getting his elbows out to win that race. And remember Jack Hawksworth after that race in our Michelin Countdown to Green show, he said he's got one coming. So all that proves is that when it's a dogfight for the win, Ellis will not back down for anyone.
Significant car on the pit lane. That is the number 343, Nick Cassidy, second place in LMP2. They've fallen 16 minutes short. We kind of thought that would be the case. That removes a little bit of the pressure from the 04 crowd strike by APR.
They need to pit again. 43's in the pound seat. 43's in the pound seat because the 04 has to pit with 10 minutes to go, roughly. The 43 pitted with exactly 40 minutes to go. That should get them home. I wouldn't want to guarantee it, but should do.
Tell you what, though, it's going to be tight, you know, because it's 54 seconds between the leader and Tom Dillman in third place. It's 45 seconds down the pit lane and a splash of fuel.
But then you cut a bit out. Oh, I don't know.
Slow down, speed up.
I don't know.
But it's a shorter run through the pit lane than it is round turn 1 and 2.
In comes the CrowdStrike car.
From the lead. From the lead. So here we are. Now, what we've got to watch is the number 43 Inter Europol car. Where is that on the track? It is just coming down to the Le Mans chicane. just coming to the Le Mans chicane. So let's keep an eye on it. It's pretty easy to spot in the middle of the Le Mans chicane now. The 04 car being serviced.
Oh, they're gone.
Has it
They're
gone?
Good.
They
They're
just needed a
Wow,
splash.
not even close. Not even close. Here comes the Inter-Europol car out of Speedway turn 4 and onto the tri-oval. And I'm just waiting to see the distinctive colours of the 04 getting back up to speed. Yep, there it is. It's out and away. So, wow. Now, if we're talking then about the BDO No Strategy Award for Prototype, you've got to say that was a pretty plucky call to go that deep. They probably had 5 minutes or so more fuel in the tank. They chose that time right there to get it done. And actually what they've done is they've dropped that car, that 04 car, into a nice gap in the field so that we can settle back in and let Alex Quinn do his job. That is very clever indeed.
Is it finally their turn? They've come so close so many times. Is it finally their turn, the 04 CrowdStrike crew? For George Kurtz, who you'd think how he's developed his skill behind the wheel, the drivers that he's given the opportunity to, the development they've had in that crew, they've come so many close a couple of times.
Within inches.
Yes,
a few years
of course,
back.
Ryan, yes, with the Proton car.
And remember, that car was pointed the wrong way. Turn 1, lap 1.
Yeah, that is sneaking ever closer for my BDO No Strategy.
Likewise.
Yeah, Sam and Stuart Cox for Alcov Pro Racing. Absolutely unbelievable. Shall we have a quick word with Stuart? No, let's not. I don't want to curse it, because if it goes off now, he'll never forgive us, Duncan, and I've got to see him at lots of racetracks. Let's leave it a little while before we start congratulating the big fella. Leaders in traffic, and once again, turn 6 is the issue. Trying to get the cars turned in there. Looks like Jack Aiken's front tyres have slightly come back towards him. He had a better turn in there in turn 6 than the leader, Felipe Nasser, in the number 7 Porsche.
One thing we noted on the previous stint, he caught the two Porsches hand over fist in the first half of the stint, but once he caught them, his advantage seemed to equalize to the Porsches. That's what he's going to have to try and protect against here in the final 12 minutes.
Yeah, final 12 minutes, and we've got a half a second between first and second. Cars producing their lap times. Very different. Nicky Team down the inside, trying to retake the lead at turn 1 in the GTD category, with Philip Ellis parking the 57 AMG on the apeces of turns 1 and 2.
Just put yourself in Bryce Ward and Russell Ward's shoes right now. Bryce, father of Russell, who's driving in this car, who's been sitting watching on the pit wall. The effort that they put into their motorsport programs is hard to quantify, and they've had the results, championships the last couple of years, but to pick up yet another Rolex, what a story this would be for the benchmark team in GTD.
But on the flip side, it's Magnus Racing. That's not a full-time team. They haven't won a WeatherTech Championship race in a decade. They've had success here in the past, but it's been a while. This would mean so much to both teams involved.
And for Spencer Pompelli, on his 25th Rolex 24, his 249th IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship race, it's too much.
Yeah.
To go and lie down in the darkened room.
It's not been a great start to 2026 for Winward either. Their forays into the Michelin Asian or Middle East Cup rather, with Creventic in the Michelin 24-hour series, did not turn the results they wanted to. They didn't get the mileage they wanted, but they have snagged the big prize in sports car racing. Max Verstappen will be driving with them in the Nürburgring Nord Schleifer long distance series and at the ADAC 24 hours of the Nürburgring. That's the chosen team, and here comes Nicky again. He's there, he'll go to the high side. Now, Philip Ellis will have to stay down. They touch, and somehow they hold their line. That was the right-hand side of the AMG to the left rear of the Aston Martin. I think team was through there. May have even been scored in the lead of the lap. Yes, he was. How did those drivers? That's 185 miles an hour, and both cars pitched sideways in a Hollywood movie style at the end of this race. I cannot believe that we are not looking at a huge incident there. Both drivers with hands as quick as you like. Reflexes like a feline on energy drink, the pair of them. Huge black Michelin tyre marks from the AMG. Well, perhaps Mr. Einstein wasn't quite right, and maybe the laws of physics are slightly more selective than we thought.
There can't have been more than an inch from the right-hand haunch of the Magnus car up on the high side and the wall. There may even be a bit of the Daytona wall on the edge of that Aston Martin for Magnus Racing. Wow, that they are playing for keeps. And since that, Ellis is away.
Yeah.
Ellis has cleared away 4 or 5 car lengths already.
I wonder if there's any suspension damage to either of those cars. It looked at me as though Philip Ellis absolutely nailed the throttle to get that car straight. Meantime, the leader is apparently doing some kind of console game challenge where you have to pass 26 cars in 2 laps. He split 2 cars as he was going through there, including that battle that we've just described to you for GTD. How close was that? They've also got Spike in there, down to the inside, through the middle. Oh my goodness. I think that was down to the inside, through the middle. I think that's a bowling knot, isn't it? I learned that when I was in the Cub Scouts.
Give Dane Cameron credit. He saw that coming
absolutely.
And moved to the high side.
Nothing of this.
And that's his old team that's coming through. Porsche Penske. They didn't necessarily leave on the best of terms. It was not the way that they wanted that relationship to end on either side. But when push comes to shove, he's not in the middle of a fight, and he did the sportsmanlike thing and made sure he did not impede.
Although GTD is stretching out the gap with Ellis grabbing a couple of car lengths away from the key team, the gap is shrinking in GTD Pro. Dan Harper, who's put in a superb final stint, is now starting to be reeled in sector by sector by Maro Engel in the 75 Express AMG. The gap now only 2.6 seconds between them with under 7.5 minutes to go.
Just cue up the Jaws music here. There's a certain inevitability about this coming together in the next 2 or 3 laps right there. VDO knows strategy. We've had the nominations for the GT category. I think it has to go to the FAF car. They've played. This is not about one single decision. They were laps down and they have played the cards that they've been given. They're going to fall just short, I think. Well, you know what? They're only 2 seconds behind now Max Martin as well. I was going to say they're going to fall just short of a finish on the podium. That may actually even get better. Let's get back to the 2 lead battles that we've been watching through turns 1 and 2. It's very tight, and a warning for the number 57 Philip Ellis Mercedes. Incident responsibility with 44. I suggest that's because he pushed him up the track a little bit, and he's now having to defend again down to the International Horseshoe. 2 battles for 2 significant class leads here have less than a second when you add them together, and now lap traffic is going to, or lapping traffic is going to play a part maybe as the BMW squeezes through one way, then the other, almost hits the back of the number 57, and that Winward car does not want to give up the inside line here because he's racing. Now surely somebody's got to be on the phone to the BMW number 24. That's one of the prototype cars, and say, look, these guys are fighting. They're not going to give you an inch.
And Ellis made it very clear, I am taking the line here. You know, either try it at your peril. Made that very clear, and had to do it in this split second. Nicky Team's not giving this up. After that little incident, you thought maybe is he starting to fade? No, not a bit of it. He is playing for keeps. So though is Philip Ellis, but 2 completely different scenarios here. Winward Racing, they're a full season team. They're 2 times champion, going for 3 in a row in the category. They've got to get those championship points, whereas Magnus unlikely to do the full championship. Maybe Michelin Endurance Cup, we don't know, but to get a Rolex 24 win, a 3rd one for that team, wow, what a story it could be. But it's impossible to call, absolutely impossible to call.
In the BD knows strategy award as I keep my eyes on about 17 different things at once. I'm looking very, very closely. Oh, hang on, here he goes again. Nicky Team, you see, as soon as we decide to forget Nicky, I think he's got to go over the top into turn one. He's persisting with the throw the car at the right, dive to the left. I think Team's got to go over the top and try and do that quicker entry into turn one. I'm looking at CrowdStrike by APR, gentlemen. They toughed it out. They made a quite brave move. It could have gone terribly wrong for them. It hasn't, but that's part of the game. And actually, it was a lot less close than I thought it would be.
Totally agree.
No argument.
Yeah, okay. 0-4 it will be for the prototype category. Again, winners always work out that way. But I'm still looking at Andrea Caldarelli and whether he can close down a little bit. It's gone out to 5 seconds now over Maxime Martin. 2 battles, 2 sets of Rolex watches up for grabs. 4 teams hoping that they will go away with the Cosmograph on their wrist. The watch that was designed to go to the moon and submitted to NASA, that didn't happen. Instead, it has become a style and design icon in motorsport.
We're going to go 3 to go. We're going to go quite deep into overtime here, and I tell you what, Felipe Nasr and Jack Aitken will be very glad that their teams gave them 100% of the allowable energy, because they're going to need it. Particularly Jack Aitken is going to need it to get to the end. He's probably going to end up with less than 1 lap left of fuel left. Oh, so close. 1.3 seconds the gap. It had got down to nearly half a second between Nasr, the leader, and Aitken in the Cadillac in second.
4 classes, 2 minutes 50 seconds to go. No class lead is bigger than 6.9 seconds at the end of nearly 24 hours.
I mean, if you take the 6 hours out, that's after 18 hours.
Fair enough.
That was a neutralised portion of the race, but I'm not taking anything away from that. But there will be the pedants who tell us.
I don't think these teams are all so good. I agree. think it wouldn't make much difference.
We have had some very long green flag runs as well, where the performance of the cars and the teams have been allowed to be shown. So is Jack Aitken gaining? I don't think he is. A 38.6 last time. He lost quite a chunk of time. It's 1.3 seconds to the leader. So we're now going to, as we have done many times, concentrate on the street fight in the street car based class on the high banks. It is Philip Ellis, for such a long time considered a specialist on the Nürburgring Nordschleife. He is so much more than that. Been part of the Windward setup for a wee while now. Windward, we know them here. They've got a parallel organisation based in Altenbach in Germany, run the AMG operation in DTM and a number of European competition. And as I said, they've been chosen to run the Verstappen Nürburgring campaign. Team again, maybe not quite as close this time. Does he go to the outside? He is going to the outside. I think this is his best chance. Got to tough it out now. Side by side to the white line. Cut it back if he's going to get underneath. Try and force the Aston wide. Get the power on. No, can't do it. The AMG tightened in nicely as the Aston was trying to go wide round the outside. But it's defensive driving now by the leader in class. And Philip Ellis knows he's got a battle on his hands. Now, how close, gentlemen, can Nicky Team stay to the Aston? The Aston seems to have the handling chops. The AMG has the handling chops on this part of the circuit. And it's really from the exit of the Le Mans chicane to turn 1 where the Aston is gaining huge amounts of wheel spin there by Team. White flag is out. 3.56 miles for Porsche. A date with destiny awaits Felipe Nasr and the rest of the number 7 Porsche 963 Porsche Penske Motorsport crew.
and think of his teammates. Julian Andler has never won an IMSA race before, and he is a lap away from putting a shiny Rolex watch on his wrist. For Lauren Heinrich, he's won a championship before, but never in this car, and to win the Rolex 24 on his 963 IMSA debut. What a story.
75th anniversary for Porsche Motorsport. 60th anniversary for Team Penske. What a way to start 2026 if they can hold it off.
Controversy about them pulling out of the FIA WEC. The critics have been answered here. All the eggs in one IMSA basket, maybe. Oh, big slide though by the leader. Is that half a chance for Jack Aitken? He's just a little bit too far back, I think. But this then is what they wanted. They wanted to come back here to conquer, to do the 3 in a row. And there's half a lap now between this car and setting an extraordinary record. Not unprecedented, but in the current era, this is very impressive indeed. Porsche Penske Motorsport on the high banks through turns 3 and 4. And it'll be Philip Nasser who brings it home.
For 3 in a row, Porsche Penske Motorsport and the brilliant Brazilian Felipe Nasser does it again, just ahead of Whelen Engineering. 3 in a row for Porsche here at Daytona.
We'll get some reaction in a moment, but we must find out what's going on in GTD, where Phil Ellis was just on a second ahead of his nearest rival, Nicky Team, in the Aston Martin. They're coming around the far side of the circuit now, and there's a bit of traffic there as well. It is the number 48 car right ahead of the leader. Dan Harper, Angus Horn, Paul Miller Racing to the Pro GTD win ahead of the Sun Energy 75 in second, and Maxime Martin for Mercedes in third position for Winwood. And here is the other car, the 57 with the flag of Texas on the roof. This is the big one for Russell and Bryce Ward. When they started this company a few years ago, they have brought it to the very top of endurance racing, and along with Lucas R, Indy Donchi, who's been with them for a while, and Russell Ward, Phil Ellis is a Rolex 24 at Daytona winner.
Fantastic execution. This team, championship wins each of the last couple of years in GTD, now a Rolex 24 as well, and crowd strike by APR. So much heartbreak over the years. All of those demons thoroughly exercised. It comes down to the young Briton Alex Quinn to take it home, to take the LMP2 class crown.
Let's pick up some reaction from Happy Cruz. Let's go to our Junior Kanga party first of all.
I'm here with the Porsche Penske Motorsports crew. It's 3 in a row for the number 7, but Lauren Heinrich, it's your first. How excited are you feeling right now?
It's incredible. I'm lost for words, to be honest, you know, to stand here today on the pit stand in Daytona and to get my first Rolex 24 win. In the end, overall, I mean, I have to give it to my team, Team Penske, Porsche Penske Motorsport, Felipe, Julian, they are incredible, and I'm just so happy for Felipe, you know, to achieve this, you know, lifetime goal for him. Thank you.
Congrats, Lauren.
In the CrowdStrike garage, and it has erupted down here for LMP2. Stewie Cox has got tears in his eyes.